Hi, Red Rangers. This is Miss Harvey, and I'm going to go over your writing assignment. I'm also going to show you how to use your planning that you did on Monday and what you did on Tuesday, and how that can help you with your response. So the first thing we need to do is take a look at the prompt. What are the challenges and triumphs of growing up? We need to notice the keywords here of what the prompt is asking us. So the keywords are challenges and triumphs. So just to go over this again, challenges are the moments that test a person's ability to endure or take on something. Challenges are usually not easy. Triumphs, on the other hand, are victories or accomplishments in a person's life that make you feel successful. So how do you use what you planned on Monday and Tuesday to write? There are 3 steps. The first step is going to be the intro statement. Step 2 is going to be your connection to the text, and step 3 is going to be the actual example from the text. You will notice under these items that are underlined, there's step 1, step 2, and step 3. These look really familiar because this is what you had on your planning document on Monday and what you had on your planning document on Tuesday. So the first thing we are going to look at is the challenges, what you guys did on Monday. So we are going to look at how to write the intro statement. The intro statement is going to come from step 1. So pick a challenge that you would like to write about from the list below. So for an example, I'm going to use number 1, having more responsibility like homework. So your intro statement should restate the question, and you should use step 1 on your planning document to guide you. So let me show you an example. One of the challenges of growing up is having more responsibility, such as homework. So what I did is I restated the question, and I said one of the challenges of growing up is, and then I used step 1 in my planning document and put is having more responsibility, such as more homework. The next thing that you are going to do is your connection to the text. So this is where it said describe a time where you faced a similar challenge from step 1. So let me show you my example. In my planning document, I put when I started 6th grade, I struggled with completing all my homework. 5th grade, 2 teachers, and now I have 8. Was hard to balance work with my different classes. I did not like doing the work, and I would do it last minute. I was behind. So your connection to the text, you should use step 2 on your planning document to guide you, and you need to clean up your response and make complete sentences and use correct punctuation. So as you can see on my planning document, I have some misspelled words. I didn't capitalize I, and I don't have complete sentences. So whenever I write my connection to the text part, I need to clean that up. So you can see my example. When I started 6th grade, I struggled with completing all my homework. In 5th grade, I only had 2 teachers, and in 6th grade, I had 8 teachers. It was a challenge for me to balance all my work with my different classes, and I would procrastinate, leaving me to do my work last minute. I got so far behind, I wanted to give up. And so I connected to the part about having more responsibility, and I took what I had planned in my document that I did on Monday, and I just cleaned it up. I made complete sentences, I made sure to look for misspelled words, and I made sure to use correct capitalization. So let's look at step number 3. You're going to use an example from the text. So where in Wagon Train at Dusk was there a similar challenge? So where in Wagon Train at Dusk was there a similar challenge to having more responsibility like homework? So this is what I put. When I was in 6th grade, I say in my storyteller's voice, we had to make a shoebox diorama of a scene from American history. I decided to do Wagon Train traveling across the Great Plains in the mid-1800s. So I took a direct quote from the text. So your example from the text, you should put what text you used. And so what you are reading. So the text we're reading is Wagon Train at Dusk, so I'm going to put that in my response. You should use step 3 on your planning document to guide you, and you should clean up your response and make complete sentences and use correct punctuation. So as you can see in my planning, I just took a direct quote. But whenever I'm actually writing my response, I need to explain that quote. I need to act like the reader has never read this story before. So in the Wagon Train at Dusk, so here I restate what we are reading. The author says we had to make a shoebox dioramas of a scene from American history. The author faced the challenge of a project he had to create at home and be responsible for. However, the family dog ended up destroying his project, leaving him with a project that was in pieces. So now I'm going to put all these things together. I have my intro statement, which is in that orange color. Then I have my connection to the text in that green color. And then I have an example from Wagon Train in that purple. And so I put it all together and I come up with a very nice paragraph explaining the challenges of growing up. And then I show that I can connect with the text. I'm not going to read this out loud, but if you would like to read it, just pause the video and then you're able to read it. So now we are going to look at the triumphs. And this looks exactly the same as what we did with the challenges. You have your intro statement, you have your connection to the text, and then you have the example from the text. So your intro statement, again, is going to come from step 1 on what you did on Tuesday. What are the triumphs, positives of growing up? So the example I'm going to use is choose your own. I'm going to use the one that Mrs. Cantu came up with on Monday and Tuesday in our video, the creative comeback. So remember the intro statement, you want to restate the question and use step 1 on your planning document to guide you. So an example, and just remember that what are the challenges and triumphs of growing up is what we're focusing on now. So the example that I'm going to use is one of the triumphs of growing up is creating a creative comeback when you find yourself in a challenging situation. Okay, so I restated the question. So what are the triumphs of growing up? And then I used step 1 and put is creating a creative comeback when you find yourself in a challenging situation. So let's look at the connection to the text piece. So describe a time when you faced a similar triumph. So my example, again, it says 6th grade when I procrastinated, did not complete my work, talked with teachers, I got a planner, came up with a game plan, and decided to do a little of my work each day. I color-coded my assignments, talked to my mom, and convinced her to buy me a reward at the end of the 6 weeks if I completed all my work. So again, your connection to this text, you should use step 2 on your planning document to guide you, and you should clean up your responses and make complete sentences and use correct punctuation. So again, you see in my example, I have some misspelled words. My sentences are very choppy and they don't flow. I don't have complete sentences. So whenever I look at my example, I cleaned it up. And I said, when I was in 6th grade and I was procrastinating, not doing my work, I realized this was not going to work for me. I began my comeback by talking with my teachers and buying a planner and color coding my assignments. I even convinced my mom to get me some kind of reward if I completed my work. So here I am, I cleaned up what I said, and I used step 2, though, to help me in my response. So step 3, this is a final step, and this is where you pull an example from the text. So where in the Wagon Train at Dusk was there a similar triumph? So I put the author picked up the pieces, took it to school, and everyone laughed at what he renamed it. So again, you need to put the text you used. So the text that we are going to use is in the Wagon Train at Dusk. You use step 3 on your planning document to help guide you, and then you clean up your responses and make complete sentences and use correct punctuation. And so you can see I just did one sentence here. And I need to remember to act like the reader of my response has never read this text before. And so I changed it. In the Wagon Train at Dusk, the author's dog destroyed his project that he worked so hard on. Instead of sulking, the author made his creative comeback by putting all the pieces in a box and renamed it Wagon Train after a tornado. The teacher and students all laughed and loved it. So here I am. Again, I used the text that we are using, Wagon Train at Dusk, and I made sure to state it. And then I told the reader what happened and how did the author have this creative comeback? What did he do? And I explained it. So again, to have a full response, you need to put all 3 parts together. You need your intro, and then you need your intro statement, which is in the orange. Then you need your connection to the text, which is in the green. And then you need the example from the text in the purple, and you put it all together. Again, I'm not going to read this all out loud. If you would like to read it, just hit pause on the screen. So, something you guys need to remember is the prompt. What are the challenges and triumphs of growing up? So what you need to do is put the challenges paragraph together with the triumphs, and then you will have a full written response. You notice how this is more than 1-2 sentences long? It needs to be at least 5 to 8 sentences long. And if you follow the planning document, you will have no problem coming up with that many sentences. I also added sentence stems to your document, so use those to help guide you. This is how you will be graded. So you're going to be graded on 4 things: making connections, so your own personal experience, that's going to be that green piece. You're going to be graded on the text evidence. What evidence from the text did you use to support it? So that purple piece, your example. And then you're going to be graded on your draft. So planning is one of the most important parts of writing. And so we're going to look at your planning document and see what you drafted out. And then your editing. So your use of capitalization, of proper nouns, correct uses of punctuation, and then your sentences. So, as always, now it's your turn. And if you need anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Mrs. Cantu said it in her last video, and I completely agree with her. Y'all are the greatest kids, and so don't forget that. And reach out if you have any questions.